I'm a Lucy, coming to you on another hot September day, and today we're going to talk about the weather, the winter. I get questions all the time of how do you tell what the winter's going to be and what those are. Um, First, I'd like to say that this has been a strange, different year this year in terms of weather. Um, and when I make comments like that and say that, I want to say that for 21 years, I've followed the weather right here on our little mountain. I've planted a garden. I've been outside. I've noticed and take notice of what's happening. And that's, before I get started, I want to say that's what's really important if you want to know what's coming with the winter, is to get outside, start taking notice through the seasons, all the seasons. All of them work together. That's how it was made. And start documenting that. Write that down on your calendar. It was hot this day. It was not hot that day. This is how many snows we had. This is how much ice we had. But you have to be able to figure out what the patterns are and what's coming. You got to go out and spend time actually where you are. And it's important to where you are. You know, them weather folk, they get it in general, but it's not right where you are. Like right here, we can have a good snow and come right down off of here, and the people don't have a thing. So it's real important to get to know where you are. And so, what these things I tell you today, go look at them where you are. I could say, well, we had umpteen million fogs and we're all going to be snowed under, but that might not be the case at your house, and your house might be 20 minutes down the road. It's just real important to spend time outside. And, you know, the book gives us signs, and so we need to look. It says it gives us signs, and so we need to look for those signs. So anyway, back to being the strange year, weather-wise, you know, we didn't hardly have no winter, and when you don't got no winter, I know some folk say that's all right for you people down south in Florida and stuff, but for us, when we don't have winter, when we don't have significant snowfalls, then we don't get moisture put in the ground, and we don't get the snow puts some minerals back in the ground that we need. We don't get that either. We don't freeze out the bugs. You know, remember them danged old stink bugs? Well, they don't eat stuff, but they're horrible. Things don't get killed out. So we didn't have that. And we come in on to spring, and it's been so dry this year here, just dry. I don't know the scientific statistics, but it's just been dry. I read somewhere that we've had 50 plus days of 90-degree weather. That's not normal either. We usually have 15 or 17. And we're sitting here in September and it's still 90 degrees. That's not it. So, anyway, so here are some of the things I look for when I'm outside, and those things for the seasons. Because I do live by the seasons, because the herbs I gather are by the season. You know, I gather leaves, and I gather stems, and I gather roots, and that is the time of fall when I gather roots. So I have to live by the seasons and pay attention. Two things that are real different that I've noticed is, y'all know them. I had a picture of them on my page of the woolly worm. The woolly worms you usually see in right now, September. There are tons everywhere, and here's why. Here's the educated redneck part of it about the woolly worm is they actually turn into this beautiful orange colored moth, but they kind of like hibernate. Their body gets this stuff like antifreeze, and if you see one in the winter, they look dead. Well, they ain't really dead, and so it takes the starting of the cooler weather to cue them out, so to speak, so they'll know to get ready to hibernate. Well, that ain't happening. I ain't seen none hardly. The other thing is those beautiful, I know some folk don't like spiders, it scares them, but those beautiful orb weaver spiders that build the big, we have them here, these big, huge webs in the shed doors, in the, you know, where we keep the hay. You can't walk nowhere, so you're covered in it. You know, when you're out doing the chores in the morning, they're everywhere. They ain't here. I've seen like two. And once that is, they take, the cooler weather takes them, cueing them, those ladies, to build that web and laying them eggs. So that's kind of, those are strange that we don't have it, but that goes along with the warm weather. The fogs, I'm sure y'all have all heard that one about how many fogs you have in August is how much snow, how many snows you're going to have. Well, and you put a bean in a jar. That's the bean jar thing. Well, we had 4 right here, and I heard some folk, the weatherman here in near Knoxville said 12. But I don't know about that. But it depends on where you are. People say, how many fogs? Well, that's how many fogs for right here on my mountain. You had to count where you are. And, if you live along a river fogs every day. So that kind of messes with it. So all that's things to think about. The persimmon. When you cut open a persimmon, it'll have what looks like a spoon, a fork, or a knife. A spoon means lots of snow. A fork, because, it looks like a shovel. A fork, not so much. And a knife means ice. Well, the persimmons I have seen have knives, and which would go with this hot weather. If you think about other places in this good old country that have hot weather, like, Illinois and them flatlands, they get ice. So that would make sense that with this hot that we would get ice. Now, that's just speculation. That's what I'm thinking. I've seen no hornet's nest. That's another one. If you see a hornet's nest up in the tree, that's a good thing. That's where they typically build up high. When you see the hornet's nest, they got them paper mache nest things down on the ground. You better hold Katie bar the door because it's coming. But I have not seen that. So this is just to help y'all be educated rednecks. So y'all need to get out and write things down and do that. And we also, if you're the praying kind, you need to pray that this weather's going to shift and that will be more normal. Because, what's real here is the weather shift like this, we ain't growing the food we need to grow. Even if you have a garden, whether you live in an apartment, subdivision, whatever, it's affecting the farmers. And that's eventually going to come and back to us. So we need to pray that this weather shifts back to more normal. So y'all take care. Like us on old Facebook there, Mama Lucy Mountain Ways. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.